Hey guys, it's Michael, and I'm back with another Let's Build video. Today, I'm going to be building a royal palace, and I'm going to be using rare items. Of course, you can get rare items from the curio shop, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but let's get to work. I'm actually going to be building 3 rooms that you would find in a royal palace. I'm going to be building a dining room, a ballroom, and a throne room. But the idea here is that I'm going to create kind of a backdrop for these rooms that I'm going to use for all 3 rooms, and by kind of swapping up the items that are featured inside the room, I'm actually going to create 3 rooms for you. So you'll see this all in the video, so let's start right away. I'm going to use the neo-Gothic flooring for my palace, and I'm just going to add that into the room there. I love the color combination. The white, the pink, and the black really are sharp, and they work really well together. And for my wallpaper, I'm going to use the Ancient Civilization wallpaper. I really like this wallpaper because it's very fancy. Look at the columns and the detail that went into this. And you sort of have 3 nice areas here that you can use to add wall decorations and really make this room look very fancy. So now, as I mentioned before, this is the wallpaper and flooring that I'm going to use for all 3 rooms. I'm going to also decorate these back 2 walls, and that will also be used for all 3 rooms. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now, I love decorating with columns. This is the ancient Ionic column, and I'm gonna add 3 of these to the room, and I'm just gonna put them in the back corner here and the left and right corners. This really works well with the wallpaper because you have hints of columns in the wallpaper, and so this really gives relief and makes the wallpaper pop right out. So let's add those there. Of course, these are all rare items from the curio shop, like I mentioned before. We're going to need to decorate this back wall, and it's going to have to look fancy because we're using this, of course, for a royal palace. So there's some really nice bookshelves that you can get. These bookshelves are part of the Palace Princess rare theme. I'm going to add 2 of them. It's the Baroness bookshelves, and I'm going to add 2 of them right to the room here. And they actually fit in really nicely in these arches. So I'm going to add 2 of them, and they're going to tuck in really nicely right there. Now, with this last arch here on the left side of the wall, I'm going to put in a sovereign stained glass window. This window is also from the Palace Princess rare theme, and it fits really nicely there. I love this window because you can really see the rays of light coming through that stained glass window, and it definitely looks something that would be featured in a fancy palace. Now, there's some Contessa candle wall sconces, and I'm just going to put 1 on each side of the window. It's going to frame it nicely, and those pinks really work well with the rest of the room. The pink and the purple and the white combination here that are featured on the bookshelves work really well with that neo-Gothic flooring that I added earlier. Now, for the right wall here, we're going to do little bit some more decorating here. Why not add another stained glass window right to the center? It really gives it a nice unified look and matches the window on the opposite wall. Now I'm going to add 2 neo-Gothic pillars on either side of the window to frame that window. These are pillars, but they actually are wall items, so you actually have to add them right to the wall there. So I'm going to add 1 on the right of that window and 1 on the left. Now these ones are nice white, so it works with the walls, it works with the other pillars and the floor, and it's got a really nice sharp kind of line of pink there that draws everything together. I think that we need some candles to display in front of those columns, and the King's Royal lamps are going to work perfectly. These are from the medieval theme. And I'm going to put 1 in front of each pillar right here. And now I love the black iron of these candlesticks because it really works well with this neo-Gothic flooring and is tying that all together. Of course, this is a palace, so every palace has thrones. So we're going to add 2 thrones to the left wall. These are the Ascended Princess thrones. This is from the Palace Princess theme. I'm going to add 1 on either side of this window here, and it's really going to reinforce the fact that this is a palace, and of course somebody very important must live here. Now continuing along the left side of the wall here, I'm going to add a neo-Gothic grandfather clock to the right corner there. that also ties in the colors really nicely and has that nice sharp black and stainless steel feel that really adds to this room. And of course, now right in the back corner, I'm going to add 2 sets of armor. This one's the Knight of the Round armor. That one's going to go against that wall right there. And there's a second one that you can get in the Curio Shop called the King's Guard suit of armor. And I'm going to add that one right on the opposite wall, right next to the other armor that I added. And now there you go. That really reinforces the fact that it's a palace or a castle, and a very nice looking one at that. So there you go. I've decorated the 2 back walls, and now that is going to remain constant throughout all 3 rooms. I mentioned before that I was going to build a dining room, a ballroom, and a throne room. I'm going to start with the dining room, and you will see how these back walls are going to really work well with all 3 rooms. So you can choose to build one of these 3 rooms, or hey, you can even build all 3. Now, a dining room in a palace, I picture a really long table with chairs at opposite ends of the table. In a palace, you wouldn't see chairs maybe around the whole table, but just at either end. So first, I'm going to add the dining table. Now, in order to create the illusion of a very long table, I'm going to actually use 4 neo-Gothic dining tables to achieve that. Now, I'm going to put them right in the center of the room here and really stack them right next to each other to give the impression of a long dining table. You know it's a very important person if they're eating at a very long dining table. So there it is. Those are 4 tables put together, made to look like one big long table. Now I'm going to add 4 neo-Gothic dining chairs to the table. Of course, just 2 on each end. So I love these chairs. The black is so nice and slick, and the little pink mark at the back of the chair adds a really nice touch, and again ties all these colors in this room together very nicely. Of course, dining rooms, I picture lots of candles and lots of flowers, so let's start adding those now. These actually flowers are from the W shop. They are not rare items, but I had to add them because they just add a perfect touch as a centerpiece to this table. So I'm going to add 4 flowers, 2 pairs of 2 identical types of flowers. I'm just going to add them right to the middle of the table on opposite sides, so it really gives the impression that there's a really nice bouquet there. Now, I mentioned before that I'm going to have to add some candles, so I'm going to do that around the border of the room. As I do that, let me just talk about rare items quickly. As I said, you can get them from the Curio Shop. You can get at least 1 rare item every single day. So Artie changes his inventory at the shop every hour, so you should check back every hour to see if you can find the rare item. And here's a tip. If you actually tip Artie, there's a tip jar on his desk. If you tip him every time that you see him, he's going to get to know you better, and he's going to like you a lot more, and he's actually going to tell you the exact hour that the rare item actually will appear in the Curio Shop. So all you have to do is click the Ask About Rare Items button once you've tipped him quite a bit, and he's going to hold up his sign and tell you that hour where the rare item is actually available in his shop. So if you go to the Curio Shop every day, you can get a rare item every day and build up your collection quickly, and soon you'll have enough to build a royal palace of your own. So those are the 4 candles that I added to the room to create a nice border for this dining room. I'm going to add a Grand Empire chest from the Ancient Civilizations theme to the left side here to kind of even out the room a little bit. And I also have a Legionnaire suit of armor that I'm going to add next to this candle. This one's nice because it works with these other armors and creates a nice border to this dining room, but I'm going to turn around, face the center. But look at this, his purple cloak really works nicely with some of these items like the books in the bookshelf. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I had to add it to the room. Now, we're going to have to add some more flowers to the border of the room. So I'm going to add 3 Bellecourt blooming flowers. These are from the Palace Princess theme, but I'm going to go ahead and drag those in right now. I'm going to add 3, kind of space them out around the borders of the room to add some color and to give it some flair. Now these ones actually, you can see them bloom. So in play mode, if you click on them, they'll actually magically bloom open, and there you go. And that is going to be perfect for this dining room. There you go. My pet is going to sit at the end of the table here. Now I want to add one more item. Now I love decorating with columns because they're really useful when trying to create unique looking rooms. So look at this. I'm going to put a column right in the south corner of this room to frame it off and make the perfect royal dining room. Look at that. The 4 columns really work well together. I've decorated all with these fancy flowers, and of course the lights add a beautiful touch to this dining room. And there you go. That is my royal dining room. Wouldn't you love to have a meal in this dining room? I know that I would, and especially maybe a meal with a king or a queen. That would be pretty cool. So that is the first one, the dining room. Now I'm going to clear out these items and show you how to use the same sort of wall decorations here to create a ballroom. So there you go. I've cleared out the dining room, and all that is left here are those 2 walls that we decorated at the start of the video. And now I am ready to transform this room from the dining room into a ballroom. And you know what? I'm not going to add very much to this ballroom because every ballroom, of course, would have a nice big dance floor. So what I am going to do, though, is corner off that dance floor using these columns again. So this time I'm going to add 3 columns to the room, 1 again in that south corner, and now I'm going to put 1 to break up these 2 side walls right here. Now that really gives the impression that this is a fancy ballroom, because all fancy ballrooms have nice big columns that kind of surround it. So there you go. Now I'm also going to add 4 Contessa candle lamps. I'm going to add 2 on each side, and they're going to be located on each side of the center column. Now these candles match the other candles that I have on the wall, and the banners that are featured on these candles really are featuring the colors that are in this room, ties everything together, but it also gives it a very nice regal sort of fancy look. So there you go. That's all that I've done, is added those 3 columns and those 4 candlesticks. And now there you go. All of a sudden, I have a ballroom. Now, my pets would have a lot of fun dancing here. And of course, there's that neo-Gothic clock, so you can always make sure that your pets are on time for the ball. So there's the second royal room. We've built a dining room. Here is the beautiful ballroom. Now, of course, for the last room, using those 2 back walls, I'm going to show you how to build a royal throne room. Now this one is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just remove these columns so I can access the rest of the room. And I'm also going to remove the candlesticks. Just give me a nice canvas to work from. So there you are. We're back at stage 1 again with the 2 back walls. And now it's time to create the throne room. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add some carpets to the room. These are the Royal Rain rugs. I'm going to add 3 of them to the room, and I'm going to line them up right in front of these thrones here. So it's almost going to create an aisle or a sort of a fancy walkway leading to these thrones. So I'm going to put these right in the middle of the room, and it actually really works nicely because you have these 2 stripes in the middle of the room, and the carpets really go right down the middle of the room perfectly. And the 3 carpets here fit perfectly in front of those thrones. So there you go. Now the next thing I'm going to have to do is add some chairs, because every throne room, you know, you have the king and the queen and the court. So all the people in the kingdom can come here and be entertained and meet the king and the queen. So let's put these chairs in here. Of course, these again are the neo-Gothic dining chairs, and I love these chairs again because you know, the black is just so slick, works so nice together. And of course, like I mentioned before, there's that beautiful pink sort of decoration on the back there. Let me move these chairs a little bit closer to the front row. And now I'm just going to do the same thing on the opposite side of the room to really give the impression that this is a throne room, and that lots of people could come in here and have an official visit with the king and the queen. So there you go. I've left room here that pets can walk up and down to see the king and the queen. And now, of course, I think the theme for this video is are the columns, because I'm using them in every single room. And you know, the way that you use them can really make a room look very unique and very fancy. So I'm going to add 4 columns to the room to reinforce the fact that it is a throne room and really give it some sort of authentic, official, regal feel to it. So there I go. I'm putting them on either side of the rows of chairs there. And now I'm going to do it on the opposite end here. Put one there and right by the front row. I've matched these columns up perfectly, so it's kind of creating a nice rectangle in the center of the room. And you know, the columns are placed so that it's not going to block your view from the king or the queen, who will sit proudly right here on the thrones. Now, you know what? This room actually doesn't even need too much more. I think that if I added a couple of royal lamps, that would finish things off nicely. So let me do that now. Here are the king's royal lamps. I'm going to add them on either side of the carpets here, to give it again a nice official look. So there you go. Pretty simple. Didn't have to add a lot of items to that room to make it look like a throne room. But of course, because we've decorated these 2 back walls with really fancy items, it's they tie all 3 rooms together. You can build 3 rooms, and you know, you can really create your own royal palace on your Webkinz World account. I hope that you're encouraged to make your own Let's Build videos and upload them to YouTube. Make sure that you use Webkinz Room Designs in your titles, like Maddie did. I hope you saw her video here on Webkinz Newz. She built a diner and she did a really great job. Have fun designing rooms, and I'll see you next time.
Click to play Webkinz or watch more videos.